Alright guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to start putting air conditioning on JJ. I've already got started just a little bit. Nothing, you didn't miss anything. Right now I'm in the process of draining and removing the radiator. I've got the top hose loose. I've opened the valve down on the bottom and let it drain some. I've closed it back up already and I'm fixing to finish it off by removing the lower radiator hose. So I want to go ahead and finish draining the radiator, and I will start trying to install the condenser. Okay, I've got the radiator out. A little bit of a pain. Sorry if the lighting is bad. We get like pop-up thunderstorms every day during this heat. I don't want to take a chance on trying to bend this outside and having to stop. But here is my condenser. I got this from Rock Auto. I think I paid 70 something dollars for it, not maybe 75. But anyway, it came in damaged. These lines right here were all bent. I've got those straightened back out. Don't believe it damaged anything back here where it might would crack. When I put the vacuum on it, that'll tell the story on that. This top bracket on this side was bent down. It's still bent. This top rail, you can see it starts going downhill right here, and these fins get more collapsed where it's been smashed. Shipping just did a number on it. This is very fragile parts and they're easy to damage. So I thought about sending it back, and I thought, well, I'll try to install it. If it works, I'll keep it. If it don't work, then I'll try to send it back and see if they'll get me another one. I didn't want to have to wait for a few more days, but I wanted to get started today. All my parts are not in, but I have a lot of my parts in. The two parts that's not in that I'm waiting on, the two different sets of parts, they're both from eBay, which is not surprising. One of my parts shipped from eBay on the guaranteed delivered by date. That's the date it shipped on. So I was not happy with that person. So I need to slide this radiator shroud, fan shroud is right in my way. I'm going to have to pop it out too, it looks like, because it's like, why I didn't do that to start with. Alright, I got this condenser hanging in there by the bolts. They're not tight. I've got the nuts and the lock washers on the bottom side, and these right here you have to put on the bottom. You can't just put nuts and bolts on it because you can't get to the back side. So I went to my local body shop supply store and purchased these right here. And if anybody's interested in the part number, that's it right there. And if I can find these on Amazon so you can just order them online, I'll try to leave a link to these in the description. I'm using 1/4 inch bolts right here. It called for 5/16, and I used 1/4 inch because I wasn't sure that 5/16 would go through my mount on my condenser, so I wanted to make sure when I was buying that I had something that worked, and 1/4 inch is plenty strong enough. That's a good size bolt. The condenser it's not very heavy at all. So anyway, I'm gonna get under here now and put these on and do the bottom side. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but this right here where my thumb is at is the hole that don't have any threads to it. So you have to give it thread somehow, and that's why you put this piece right here on it. And all it does is it slides over that hole and just like that right there. And it's spring loaded on the inside, so when it snaps over the hole, it can't come back out. I don't know if y'all can see that with the background, but anyway. Let me get this other one popped in and I'll put the screws in. All right, the condenser's in. Bolted up very nicely. Next, I'm going to put in the compressor that I purchased. I'm going to remove some of this stuff out of the way, and then I'm going to try to see if I can get that put in. I've got a little bit of an issue here. This heater core line is over the top of this mounting point right here, and JJ being JJ, he's not going to make it easy. Somebody's apparently worked on this, and without an air compressor you wouldn't even think about that line being too far out this way. So I'm going to have to take the belt off, loosen that line down there, and see if I can push it back over closer to the valve cover to get me a little clearance for the air compressor. Okay. Okay, I went and got the right wrench, and it didn't actually work the way I thought it would. I thought this piece would loosen, and then you could swivel the pipe where you wanted it and retighten it. I just had to actually tighten it a little further. And anyway, it's out of the way now. So I've got me a tap. It's suggested to tap these holes right here to make sure they're clean, because this bracket's never had an air compressor on it. I'm gonna go ahead and tap those holes. I can say right now I'm not very happy with Rock Auto. My condenser came in, that was the last piece that came in. It was bent all to pieces. And now I'm looking right here, I don't know if you can see it, but that leading edge on that first rib on that pulley is bent in where it has been dropped. The box had zero damage in it. So whoever shipped this part, this damage was done before it was put into the box. So anyway, I don't know, that's just aggravating that you order these parts, you pay good money for these good parts, and they come back like this. And if you want to make it right, you guys ship them back and wait. But anyway, I want to try to make it work. I'm just a little frustrated right now about the damage I've got for, you know. So two of my bigger components, this and the condenser, both of them received damage. So I'm going to go ahead and try to use this pulley. I know I can be a little ticky sometimes, but damage is damage any way you look at it. And you can see the shiny spot right there. If the compressor works right and I do start having a little bit of trouble with this leading edge here, I'll get a file in there and I'll file it down smooth instead of having to fight. That's what's nice about going to a brick and mortar store. Take it back and say, hey, I got a damaged one, they'll give you another one. Of course, when you add a new air compressor to the system that didn't have air compressor before, you had to have a new Serpentine belt. I got this one from Rock Auto for about 10 bucks. I would recommend getting things like this from Rock Auto. I mean, I'm not against Rock Auto by any means by what I said earlier. My two most expensive pieces came in damaged. That's why I was kind of aggravated, but you can get these parts like this right here relatively cheap. Alright, so this belt is like way too tight to put on. I can get it on. That's not what I mean. I can't make it work, but it's too tight just to loosen the tensioner and to put the belt on the normal way. So I even took the tensioner pulley plumb off. Belt still wouldn't go on. With the tensioner pulley off, I loosened the compressor. Belt still wouldn't go on. So I've got all that back on and tightened back up. And there's one thing I found out that works, and it is to put a ratchet on the crank bolt down here and take my finger up here on the smooth side of the fan part of the pulley, rotate the engine, and it will walk itself on. Alright, I've got the belt on everywhere except for this last little piece of pulley. Now I'm going to rotate the crank clockwise. This extension makes it hard to stay on. Be careful with your fingers, you don't want to get your fingers trapped. And just keep walking it until it comes all the way on. You'll feel it when it goes. There it went right there. So, and it's tight. I'm still going to use a tensioner pulley, but the tensioner has already got some tension on it right now, so I'll put a little bit more on it. But anyway, that's how I got a belt that was a little bit too tight to put on the Jeep anyway. So I've got my compressor on, I got my belt changed, I've got my condenser in so far, and got my new Serpentine belt on. All I like are my hoses, my low pressure switch, my high pressure switch, and my dryer accumulator. And right here is the part I'm going to reuse. I got to take these fittings out, and I may run some flush in there. I'm hoping this part is still good. I don't want to have to take my dash back out, but if I do, it's not a deal breaker. I'll just take it back out, hoping this part don't leak. Hoping this part don't leak, because that's the part that came in with the line so bent. But I got the lines good and straight now, so that you can't really tell if there's any damage to it ever. So I'm happy with it. I was disappointed. You can see the vents, the fans down there at the bottom's kind of damaged a little bit, but that's to be expected. A few bugs hit the front of it and they're going to get bent up anyway. But everything's looking good so far. And I got a friend, I believe, it's going to let me borrow his gauges and his vacuum pump, so I can draw a vacuum on the system, get any moisture out of it, and see if it holds vacuum and don't leak back down. That way I will know before I try to install the Freon if this leaks or not, because you don't want the Freon to escape and damage the environment. engine. We've got the radiator full of antifreeze and water. I'll let the water pump cycle it around. Make sure my thermostat opens up and the water cycles around and mixes real good. And right now, the belt on the pulley that I was concerned about with the damage, I don't see any ill effects of that at all. It's very quiet, no problems there at all. So far so good. So all I like now is putting, like I said, in the rest of the lines, putting the dryer in, getting the dryer bracket that I'm waiting on from eBay that still hasn't arrived yet. So anyway, this is going to wrap up this video right here. Everything is looking good so far. I can't wait to put the system under a vacuum and make sure that evaporator does not leak. That's my only concern that I have right now. I'm confident that the rest of this stuff is going to be just fine. So anyway, I thank y'all for watching. Y'all come back next week and maybe I'll be finishing up on JJ's air conditioning. Everything is looking good, so I'm happy with that. I'll see y'all then.